Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and with Endgame just around the corner, I thought I'd give you an update on the build for my Thanos and also make some changes and give Thanos a bit of a run for his money in his current state so that we can get a better idea of just how more gargantuan he gets offensively when he gets his new uniform and then eventually when I get him to tier 3, because he's one of the very few characters who will be able to get to tier 3 on the very first day. People already have, like me, his potential unlocked. They have his gears all at 25, and I'm about to get this one to 25 as well. Close. I'll be there soon. But we're pretty close. And all it matters, all that it takes now is to just have the materials ready. I've got 10 universal books, so I'll just need the other tier 3 materials. If I need to splash and throw some cash down to fast track that from the shop, I can do that, and then we'll be able to see how does Thanos fare, level 70 uniform, Infinity War versus Endgame, and also how does he fare with his new uniform. But here's the problem. There is one problem. My build, as well as most Thanos builds out there, are very defensive. You know, a lot of type enhancement, defensive HP Urus and recovery rate. You've got an offensive ISO 8 set, yeah, sure, okay, but you've got a defensive obelisk with guard break immunity, max HP, recovery, invincibility, or you've got a CTP of regen on him, so on and so forth. So it's a very defensive build. And yeah, okay, there's Alliance Tournament, there's Alliance, there's Timeline Battle, there's Alliance Conquest, but those are not really great places to test him in, because really Timeline Battle is the only place that you actually get to play your Thanos manually. So you could have Thanos lose or win the same identical match in Conquest just based on whether the AI chooses to use one skill or two skill, because in PvP there's a huge difference. So we got to test him in PvE content. We got to test him in World Boss Ultimate, where it's all manual play and it's offensively minded. But you guys are probably well aware that an extreme obelisk like this is not going to put a very big dent in any sort of PvE content to begin with. So we're going to be taking this one off. We're going to be sacrificing the crystals here, because while that may not be as good of an obelisk as I have compared to my CTPs of regen, maybe this obelisk will still be useful down the road. And it's extremely rare. It's an extremely rare obelisk. I've only rolled like 2 of these in my life with these stat numbers. So it's worth the 600 crystals. But rather than give him a CTP of energy, because he doesn't have a lot of chain hit. He doesn't have a lot of hits that chain multiple hits, that have multiple the hits. He's more of like hard hitting with few hits. I thought it would be more entertaining to give him a CTP of rage. Now, this has kind of been my thing lately, so I want to continue the trend. We gave one to Thor, we gave one to Wolverine, we gave one to Hulk. Why not? It's 600 crystals to test it out. If I don't like it, I can always take it off and put something else back on. And who knows? What if Thanos is amazing for PvE content? What if he's better than Victorious and Doctor Doom as universal villains? Maybe he'll become a complete monster and a complete, maniac. So we're going to check out his stats really quickly here. We're pretty much capped on the necessary ones. We've got 62 and 60% on dodge and crit rate. So we're just going to make one change here. Recovery rate, we're going to roll this to either dodge or crit rate, whatever we get first. We got dodge first. That's going to bump up our dodge to 70%. I think that's good enough. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I lied. I want crit rate instead. Hopefully it doesn't take too many more rolls to get the crit rate that we want. Some people ask me why I do these one at a time instead of choosing with auto select. I just like clicking sometimes. Everything gets autoed in this game, and sometimes I like just the one at a time type thing. So we've got almost max crit rate. We've got 60% dodge. We've got max ignore defense. We've got all the offensive stats he needs. The attack speed could be a little bit higher, but whatever. I don't know anyone who has a CTP of rage on Thanos. I'm the only one in the game as far as I'm concerned. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's see what happens. We're actually going to put Thanos up against You bet it, Thanos. And we're going to drop him off on stage 20. This is a decently difficult stage for him. I don't expect him to clear the stage, to be honest, but we're going to see just what he does. The good thing is here I can use his own leadership, so I can double up on the extra supports here, and we're going to go and find Shuri for the extra bonus stats, and we've got the Black Betrayal team up, so he's got that as well going for him. As far as strikers are concerned, I don't want to go too crazy with, you know, too many buffs, so we're actually, wow, we don't even have Invisible Woman. Let me grab Invisible Woman and a couple others, and we'll be jumping into the fight. So here we go. I ended up choosing Invisible Woman and Scarlet Witch for the double mind control, and then Deadpool. Originally, I thought that was too many powerful strikers, but then I realized that Deadpool doesn't even have a... Whoa, that's a lot of damage. He doesn't even have a damage proc anymore, so it's not really that bad. Now, in general, given the skills that he has, you want to do 4 cancel 5 to trigger his CTP of Rage, and then you want to quickly do 1, 2, and 3. Those are probably his best skills, and because you want to take advantage of the full 5 seconds, I mean, you could do his 4th skill as well, but his 5th skill is probably a bad use of the... I'm killing him right now. I'm melting him down into fucking schmelting materials. But his 5th skill right now, the way that it's designed, and I don't know if they're going to change it, because he's kind of... Am I going to die? Oh my god. Alright, that was a little embarrassing. Let's try this again. I haven't died with Thanos. I don't use Thanos in PvE anymore, though, so yeah, it's kind of weird. But as I was saying, his 4th skill and his 5th skill take a very long time to trigger their effects, and while his 5th skill does have good damage, it's difficult to rely on his 5th skill to actually activate during the CTP of Rage, and that's kind of the trickier part about the CTP of Rage versus other CTPs. You have to crit, so you need to initially trigger it with something that has enough hits but doesn't deal a lot of damage, and then you need to stack all of those damage attacks one right after another. Perhaps 2 would be a better triggering skill than on attacking skill. It's just that the animation for 2 is so much shorter than the animation for 5, so I just don't know where. I guess I could put 5 at the very beginning of the CTP of Rage trigger and hope that it activates, but it's risky because you can't really cancel 5 until, you know, 3/4 of the way through the skill animation. But holy shit, I actually died. I'm shocked, but we fixed it for this next attempt here. Maybe 4 and 5 are a better combination. It'll be interesting to see how Thanos' skills get changed if Netmarble opts for a more offensive build. He's been PvP meta only for so long in Marvel Future Fight that it's strange to imagine him being anything else, but it's possible that they will go for something a little bit more aggressive, considering that, you know, he's got the double-bladed weapon, and it's Endgame, and he's getting his tier 3. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But whether he becomes offensive for PvE or still more defensive and more annoying for PvP, I really do hope that they introduce a new PvP game mode where he can shine in, because just dumping on timeline battle teams... Oh, I might die. Just dumping on timeline battle teams, you know, 3 or 4 weeks out of the month is not that interesting for Thanos. And for the amount of effort and for the amount of resources that you expend getting him to tier 3, if that's what you're going to do, it's kind of annoying that you're only really going to use him in PvP. If it's just timeline battle, you know, if you're not into Conquest and your alliance doesn't get into the tournament, what else is there? Exactly. So, yeah. But I don't know, what kind of meta effects could they really give Thanos that he doesn't already have? He's got the all buff removal for PvP. I mean, they could give him iframe ignore, I guess. It doesn't necessarily seem like a thing that Thanos would have, but he's got the Infinity Stone, so he can do whatever he wants. But it'll be interesting to see as well how Netmarble interprets the power of his weapon, and whether that plays like a big role. Could you imagine Thanos throwing that sword around and like spinning it like a boomerang and having it, like, you know, follow you around or something? Like, that would just be weird, but it kind of cool at the same time. And personally, if you ask me, I would like to see an offensive Thanos, but I can understand, and it kind of makes sense. You know, he is the de facto villain, so having him kind of torment players in PvP and be that sort of... I might die here. I escaped. Very good. Having him torment players and be kind of there, mocking them at every turn when they're trying to do that kind of content is definitely something that makes sense thematically. But we'll see. I mean, people are also possibly speculating that the World Boss Ultimate, the stage that I'm doing right now, could change to reflect the new Thanos. I kind of doubt it. It would be a weird thing to do because we have other World Boss Ultimate stages that aren't in the game yet. I mean, Scarlet Witch, Cable, and Quicksilver all have uniforms. Those could get World Boss Ultimate stages, and while it's not actually thematic in terms of the Endgame update, you know, why would you update one World Boss twice rather than any other World Boss for the first time? You know, it's kind of like giving Iron Man his 7th uniform before other characters have gotten their uniforms, which actually, now that I think about it, that's exactly what Netmarble was going to do. I might die here. That was so dumb. Yeah, that was so dumb. I don't know why I chose to do his second skill. I should have just ran away. But it's a pretty good snapshot of what he's capable of. I would have cleared this stage, stage 20, with just these 3 strikers, with probably about 30 seconds left at most, like with the minimum amount of time remaining. Possibly could have cleared it faster in with about 45 seconds left. So that's pretty impressive. 4 to 4.5 minutes for a stage 20 clear, with some strikers, with a CTP of Rage, with a legendary uniform, and with my 404, error 404 raid level. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's giving me an extra 9,000 attack, it's giving me extra valor, it's giving me extra, you know, whatever other stats. But yeah, it's not bad. It's, you know, it's just kind of whatever. If Thanos if you want to use Thanos, if Thanos is someone that you wanted to play offensively, you know now that you could. But giving him a CTP of Rage is a pretty steep price to pay for slightly above average production. I mean, he's hard to kill in World Boss Ultimate. So I mean, even when I made mistakes earlier in the clear, I said, you know, I think I'm gonna die here, when I was standing under that purple you know, wave attack the first time, and I almost died, but I managed to escape. So yeah, I guess he's got that going for him. He's got insane base stats, and they're only going to get more crazy when he gets his tier 3. But I think for this level of investment, you would expect him to be cleaning up in just a couple of minutes, because this is an extremely steep investment for, you know, basically making a character that's super defensive kind of decent offensively. But it's a nice snapshot to have just before Endgame. I'm excited. I am very curious to see what they do with Thanos and how he changes, because he kind of changes the meta. He doesn't completely flip it on its head, but he has enough of an impact on his own that when he gets a rework, it starts to kind of shift all the other characters in the game around him. He's kind of like the sun in that sense, and the orbit just moves a little bit, a few degrees here and there, but the Earth is flat, so, you know, it's not technically rotating. It's just like a pizza spinning. So we'll have to see in which direction the pizza box spins for Endgame. Let me know what your predictions are for Thanos. Let me know if you think I'm insane for doing this, or if you want to try it now yourself, or what other characters you want to see a CTP of Rage on for the same or similar type of testing. Hit me up Twitter, Discord, etc. Subscribe if you enjoy what I do, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope you have a great day. Take care.